With all of the market uncertainty right now for Magic the Gathering's secondary market of reserve list cards, this is the time to strike to get some cards you have always wanted. On today's video, we'll be taking a look at some of these amazing reserve list cards that you should be watching. Right now, everything on the reserve list feels like it's 50% off. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thanks a lot for hanging out with me on my channel today. A big welcome to all the new subscribers hitting that button, turning on the notification bell, and adding those comments to the comment section. Welcome aboard and thanks for being here. To all my patrons, as well as all my YouTube membership members and my regular viewers who tune in each and every day, I can't say thank you enough, and it's so awesome to see us getting this much closer to 13,000 subscribers. Sometimes you come across a deal that is just too good to pass up. Recently on Amazon, they did a big product dump, and we saw a lot of Midnight, Crimson Vow stuff go on for 50, 55 bucks a box. Collector boosters were 80 or 85. It was crazy. People were buying it left, right, and center. And the same is happening on the reserve list. Many of these cards are going on sale as sellers are trying to get liquidity in the market. And that means they are fighting to get your dollar. Many things on eBay are only getting one bid and it's being sold. Italian Legend cards have never been cheaper, making them a great alternative to buying some of the cards I'm going to show you on the list today. You can get the Italian versions for half the price of what I'm going to show you, and I'll discuss that during the video. Some of these prices are crazy to see because they've been at all-time highs in 2021. And when you have the history of some of these cards right there on things like MTG stocks, you can see what they've gone for in the past and see their life cycle of how expensive or cheap some of these cards have been. I'm looking forward to discussing these cards as we go through the video, and I'm looking forward to seeing your opinions on these cards. Some of you have actually been purchasing these cards and sending me emails showing me the receipts. That is amazing. I love when you guys send me that stuff, so please keep it up. I like seeing people's collections. I think we deserve to flex a little bit when you put down hard-earned money on some amazing reserve list gems. So let's get looking at some of these cards that you should be watching, and let's enjoy the fact that most of these cards are at a heavily discounted price right now. The first card I'd like to share with you is Grim Monolith from Urza's Legacy. This card has been as high as $450, and currently on the market it holds $272 US. Now the foil will run you an arm and a leg, of course, because it is the first time we had foils hitting the market. But look at that market price of just a regular version at $272. Now if you look at the Canadian versions I'm showing you, $246 Canadian for a heavily played copy. Even that would be unheard of about a year and a half ago. As these prices continue to fall, and that downward trend is going to continue, more sellers who need liquidity are going to be trying to put cards on the market and undercut each other in a race to the bottom. This is a buyer's market. You can keep an eye on these cards and see what you want to buy and hopefully find it at the right price because less people are bidding on platforms like eBay. So guys, keep an eye out for these cards. They are truly amazing works of art that really shouldn't be passed up on at this price point. Assuming you've got a solid wallet behind you and you've got your expenses in order, cards like this are a complete steal. Now the next card is Library of Alexandria. This card is still expensive, but nowhere near where it was in around 2021. A little bit after that, the average copies were 3,800. It was really high. There was some BGS copies going for $10,000 US. Now, it's more limited in the formats it can play in. You can't use it in Commander in a legal way. I mean, casual games, sure, some players let you play with it. I don't think it should be banned, honestly, just because of the fact there's so many ways of doing land destruction now. I don't have any problem with these cards, but other players will. When I see this card for $2,100 Canadian heavily played, that is a very inexpensive card to get when you saw the current prices compared to how they were a year ago. Guys, cards like this just don't come around every day. With only 20,000 copies, give or take a few, in existence at its zenith, at the height of its power, before land destruction, before things have happened, and just attrition happened to these first cards, right? Arabian Nights was the very first expansion. How many are truly left in existence? It's not nearly what people think, but the ones that are left, eventually the value will continue to grow in these cards. So if you have that cash available, if this is a card that's always interested you, it probably has never been at a cheaper rate. Now the next card is Lion's Eye Diamond from Mirage. I remember laughing at this card back in the day, seeing no use for it whatsoever. I actually opened it at the tournament, and I just didn't know what to do with it, so I never used it. And this card was like worthless for years and years before people found ways of breaking the card. Currently, you can find a near mint copy for $700 Canadian, but the market price in the US is $503.95, and it is continuing its downward trend. The pressure on the sales volume has never been greater, which means when you look at this card, it's not selling a lot. So players who do want to sell are stuck with it, and they're looking at each other saying, who's going to blink first and lower that price? That race to the bottom is truly an awesome thing to see if you're the one in the buyer seat, watching people fight over you to get your money. What a great opportunity for a lot of players out there who have that liquidity. Now our next card is Mirror Universe. A lot of people forget about this card, but its ability to just alter the game state by changing life totals is crazy to watch in action. It is from Legends. It's an old school card. Now, it's $500 Canadian for a light played copy. The market is actually $424.08 US, and it's €404 overseas to get this card into your house. Now, when you're taking a look at this card, and you see the fact it can change your life totals, but yes, it costs 6, but it's 6 generic. Cards like this do still see play, and they have a lot of value going forward. And some of that art by Phil it's just some of the art I've always enjoyed. I like a lot of his artwork from back in the day. It just gives me that nostalgic feel. I don't know anything about the artist, but I do like the look of that artwork. Now our next card coming up is the Willow Satyr. Now this card is $132 Canadian, light played. The market is $132.90 US. You see that discrepancy? It's much cheaper to buy in Canada than it is in the US. But not only that, an Italian version in Canada is $60. $60 Canadian for an Italian near mint copy of the card. Which means if you just want to have a real copy, you don't care if it's in English, you just want to be able to take control of other people's legendary creatures inside of Commander, then that's the way to go. That's going to save you a lot of money and a lot of time and effort, because you can use your money to buy other cards in Italian at half the rate right now. And this card reached up to $290 US, because I remember it being that high, and I remember telling people to buy this card at the $40 level. So I think it's awesome that it's come down that much, that players will now have that opportunity to dive into a card like this and use it, actually get to play with some of these old school reserve list cards that they've never really had the opportunity before. It's a great time for players. Now the next card I want to share with you is Tetsuo Umazawa. Now this guy beat up Nicol Bolas, I believe, in like the history and lore guys. And I remember telling people to buy it back when it was like $80. Now it's still kind of expensive. It's $235 Canadian for a light played copy. But you can get yourself into an Italian version for around $100, which is a pretty good deal. The market price in the US though is $183.60 US. So you can see it's pretty close to the Canadian value. But €133.58 is significantly cheaper the way their dollar is right now. So if you have a way of getting it overseas and shipping it to you, that's by far a better deal. For me, I would go for an Italian version just so I have a real card. Destroying target tapped creature or target blocking creature is amazing, and the fact he can't be targeted by enchant creature spells is kind of funny. And back in the day, I'll be honest, 3 for a 3/3 was pretty powerful. I mean, we consider that guy a powerhouse, man. Now our next card, Caverns of Despair. This thing has never been that high. It's been around the $100 mark. What I want to mention is I've seen this used, and I have used it myself. I have an Italian version, I believe. And this card has that little bit of a quirk to it. It's an enchant world from Legends. All players may attack with no more than 2 creatures each turn and block with no more than 2 creatures. It really limits those who've got those giant token decks. But what I noticed is the Italian versions of this card are going for like $40. That's really cheap. If you just want to have this card and be able to use it at some point, again, dive into that Italian copy, save yourself some money, and just play with the card. Having cards like this inside of a deck allows you to put really giant beastie creatures in play because you're only going to be attacking with a couple of creatures. And your opponents who may have a mass army of tokens really can't use them effectively because you've messed them up with a card like this. Love this stuff. Now the next card is In the Eye of Chaos. This got used so much against me as a kid. Now this card at $235 Canadian for a light played copy off of eBay including shipping fees is just awesome. 1 blue, 2 other. It's an enchant world again. All instants and interrupts, so there's no interrupts anymore, but all instants are countered unless their caster pays an additional X, where X is the casting cost of the spell being cast. So basically you're stopping every instant spell out there. Picture just like stopping stuff, unless they've got double the mana to spend to make that card happen. This is one of those cards that just screams at you to buy it when you get the chance, because this card again has been like $450. It stayed at $400 for like a year. It really hasn't dipped in price. The market value right now is $192.24 US. People should not be passing up on cards like this, assuming they can afford to do so. Finding an Italian copy, you can get it for around $160 Canadian. Not quite as good a deal as some of the other cards I mentioned, but it's still an affordable sub-volume. If you just want to get the card, it's cheaper to buy it that way. Now our next card is Old Man of the Sea. Now this is a card I need for my Arabian Nights collection, so of course I'm paying attention to cards like this, and they don't have it in Italian. But this card was up around the $650 level at one point, and now I can find copies for $325 Canadian, moderately played. The market price though is $221 US, which is pretty reasonable. €249 to get this card into your house. And remember, anyone here who's buying using TCG Player, please remember to use my affiliate link found in the description of all of my videos. If you click that link, it takes you right to TCG Player, and any purchases you do help the channel get things done. You help me get cards, I get a little bit of a kickback, and I can put it toward buying Arabian Nights cards. So thanks again everyone who does that. I really do appreciate it. I mean, he's an old man of the sea. He takes control of people. He's awesome. Look at him climbing all over that guy. This is truly awesome stuff. Now our next card is Singing Tree. Okay, Singing Tree again is a card I do need for my Arabian Nights collection. $200 Canadian for a moderately played copy. This thing was well over, you see it there on the screen saying over 1,000. That was for a BGS like 10. Okay, it's not that often cards like this happen. Most times this card has been as low as $160 in the last 12 months, but it's kind of hovering around the $200 mark. I'm hoping with the trending I'm seeing with sales, it's going to drop further. I'm willing to wait it out because I know the price is not going to jump up that high. It can't recover that quickly. Market swings like this will take a very long time to reorient themselves, reprice themselves, and then start that climb back up the ladder. It won't happen that quickly for cards like the Old Man of the Sea, like Singing Tree. So I can wait out and see if some sellers put it for a lower price, so I as a buyer can get in and hopefully buy one of these amazing pieces of Magic history. Love this card, man. He's a Singing Tree. So I just wanted to share those cards with you because some of the options available to players are just, they haven't been this way in so long. It's been years that I've been on the channel doing this, last couple of years, and I've never seen it this way, where the price have come down this much and they're still falling. So there's no rush to go out and buy any of these cards, but these are cards you should be watching, because if they're a card on your list, pay attention to it. Put a bookmark, check it once a week, once every couple of weeks, put a few shekels aside and start working your way into cards you only dreamed of owning in the last 24 months. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me on Card Watch today. And of course, we'll have our regular Card Watch edition tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing you all there. Can't wait to read the comments. Have an awesome day, everyone. Thank you to all the patrons on this channel who step up each and every month to support the efforts I've made to make this channel great. Thank you to all my patrons. Boomstick! That's all you're going to get today. A boomstick action. Have an awesome day, guys. I will see you soon. Boomstick. You're the 3%. 3%.